Okay, it's 7 o'clock. Let's call the meeting to order. Good evening, everyone. Hello, Ron. How you doing tonight?
Hi.
You made it just under the wire.
Yeah.
So we'll call the meeting to order and we'll start with the minutes from the prior meeting. I said to Jay before the meeting that I have a couple of relatively minor edits, but unbelievably good job he did. I mean, for considering the complexity of the meeting and the amount of stuff we covered. So Jay, kudos to you for being so thorough. And because most of my stuff is sort of English related, except in one case, I'm just going to give it to you because it's really minor stuff. The only thing that I had, okay, on let me see. Two things on page 4, where it says Chair Oliha looked up the zoning law definition. I just looked up the definition. I didn't look at the zoning law definition of it. I Googled the definition and the Wikipedia definition of mining operations. So, and one other. On page 7, the third paragraph down, in the middle of the paragraph, it said, blah, blah, blah. Could have had all the information the ZBA had without undertaking the process, and that his opinion and the board's opinion was not a criticism of the planning boards. We just add was not. Oh, cool. Okay.
That should be correct.
Great, thank you. Anyone else have any comments, changes? Okay. Make a motion to accept them.
Motion to be accepted with those changes.
Second.
All in favor? Just voice. Aye. Great.
So who made the motion to be accepted?
Will made the motion. Sharon seconded it. Okay, Jay, do we have any other correspondence that we need to share?
Yes, so I have scheduled the training with Nan on the new form checklist for March 7th at 5 p.m. That is probably going to occur here at the town hall with refreshments. I just have to have the the town board authorize that. I also will have.
What time was that, Jay?
5
to 7?
Yes. We also have another referral from the planning board. I am working with the applicant. They had a couple of map revisions that they wanted to make sure
Okay.
So they'll likely be on the agenda next month. And then following a conversation with me, I did want to say that the planning board has already declared their intent to be lead agency for the Ingram Opera House Annex project. I will get a statement from the planning board in writing next month to that effect, but that way the environmental review can be done by the planning board and not by both boards.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else? Okay. So the two major items on the agenda tonight are ONG and the Ankrum Center for the Arts. Do we have any conflicts?
Yes, I have to recuse myself for ONG.
Okay, thank you. All right, in doing so, then Carol, I'm going to ask that you step in as replacing your alternate role, and you'll become a participating and voting member of the conversation. Thank you. Okay, we're going to open the public hearing portion of the meeting for O&G Industries. Do we have any? Yep, motion to open.
Motion.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Do we have any members of the audience that would like to comment on the O&G Industries? Do we have anybody online that would? No. Okay, well, that makes it fairly simple and straightforward. So let's
Make the motion, we close. Can we close it? Yeah.
Yep.
I'll second.
Okay, great. So let's talk about the next steps in this process, because everybody has gotten a copy of the draft resolution. Does anybody have, from the board, have any questions on the draft resolution? I don't. I went through it and it seemed thorough, straightforward. It was very linear, very easy to follow. I didn't see it being complex at all. No comments?
Just, the last meeting, there was a lot of discussion about timing. And it had to do with,
Timing of the establishment of the SCAS district?
yes, well, and then there was a period that it wasn't adopted and whatever. I didn't see anything of that in the resolution, and I didn't know if it needed to be in there.
Yeah, I know that was discussed at the meeting. I felt that it didn't, the real question was if it was a non-conforming use, and the board had decided that based on the mining operations, from 2020 to 2023, that had been established. So I didn't kind of get into that, that time period question, because I think the board understood that the time period they were looking at was 2022 to 2023. And the way that it was discussed was that it was the mining operation themselves that determined that they didn't lose their non-conforming status.
Right, there was a lot of discussion about it being 2013, so I just wanted to make sure that if it doesn't need to be in there, that's great. Just wanted to cover the bases on that, thanks. And it was, I concur with Steve, I thought it was really, thanks, there's plenty of bullet points to look at.
It was thorough, as I know you were wont to be, so that's great. So
Like you said, that, it kind of was a bit complicated. It was easy question on the inside when we just, that's what I wanted to make sure we got the board.
Yep.
Discussion.
Good. Well, Kim, let me ask you and John, because there are no changes to this draft, is there any reason why we can't move forward and vote on it tonight?
No, I mean, even if you're going to make any change, you could do that and still vote on it.
Okay,
And just, there will be one change, paragraph 25, and just any member of the public who have draft, copy of it. 25, I have a space open in case there were any public comments received tonight.
yep,
So I'll just remove that and just state, there's no public, comments received for tonight's, meeting.
okay. Well, what we'll need first is a motion to approve the resolution. We need someone to second it, and then one by one, we'll go around and vote in favor or against or abstain.
Make a motion to.
Okay,
I'll let you second it because I know that you do this.
I get it in. I'll second.
okay.
Thank you.
So I'll just go around in order of,
Just before you do that, Steve, and just so we can avoid having to read the resolution.
Yep.
Tonight, You just, for the record, ask the board members if everybody who's gonna be voting, it's had an opportunity to read the resolution, that is familiar with its contents, and also just for, any as Kim said, for any member of the public that's interested in this draft resolution. We're not gonna read it if we don't have to, but there are copies of it available here, and you just got to ask.
Okay, has everyone on the board had a chance to read it and feel like you understand it? Okay, great. Okay, so I'm going to just go in order of the names that are here. In favor, Steve Oliha. In favor, Sharon Cleveland,
Favor.
Ron Brandt,
In favor.
William Lutz,
In favor.
and Carol Falsetti.
In favor.
Okay. So the motion passes unanimously. Okay. Gentlemen, after 5 months of
Well, thank you.
hard work and effort. Okay. Well, and I personally appreciate the fact that you're willing to follow up on some of the questions that some members of the public had to, in terms of usage and such. So thank you for that. Okay, that's closed. Let's move on to the Ankrum Center for the Arts. I just need to swear you in. Do you affirm that the statements that you're about to make are true to the best of your knowledge? I do. Great, thank you.
So,
Floor is yours.
thank you. So thanks for seeing me today. Jeff, can you back up a little bit? Sure, camera seating. Oh, thank you. There you go. Thanks. With me is Kim Acker. She's a lead architect, and Scott Benedict, who's also on the project. So we have two bits of business today. The first is with under Space 1330 LLC, which is myself and Paul Ricciardi, which we own the actual Opera House building, and which is, so we have two proposals before you. So the first one, which we already saw you tour with in front of you, was a couple months ago. It looks at the ramp, to redo the ramp in front of the Opera House to make it accessible by putting essentially reconfiguring the ramp so that there will be ramps, the porch deck. So there'll be ramps coming off the sides, and we're going to close off the front of it. This is part of an overall accessibility project that we've been undertaking. We've recently finished completion of an accessible restroom on the main floor of the theater. So this will also be a major step towards making the programming that we do accessible for all audience members. And we also think just for everyone, it will bring a lot of sense. Bring a lot more safety to people coming to see the shows because they're no longer stepping right out of the ground. So, as you probably, as you receive, there's a front variants that we're requesting that Ed has written up for us. That will basically a 24-foot 6-inch variance and a side setback variance of 4'2". Essentially, the porch is almost the box of the main property on the ground. So yeah, it's page 2 in the statements. When we were here a couple months ago, it was pointed out that I think we were only at that point seeking the sides setback variance.
Yep.
And you pointed out into the front variances, so that's part of it today.
Okay.
Is there anything you want to add?
I think you covered most of it. I think everybody's familiar with the existing porch as it is now.
Yep.
Which is like 2 steps that lead right onto the road. The idea here was.
Oh, excuse me, would you just mind standing up and stating your name again so we can, just for the, thank you.
Jim Acker. So Jeff and I have probably been working on this for quite some time, but so you're all familiar with the existing porch.
Mhm.
Right now, yes, it's not that great. You step right off into County Route 7. So the idea here was to have one ramp towards the 1326, the new annex, and another ramp towards the existing parking area for the Opera House. And then we would actually close off, the steps as they are now with like a nice bumpy railing. The porch would essentially remain exactly as it is in size, it's just that the one ramp would come to one side and the one ramp would come on the other side. All made out of wood, very consistent with the language of the building. And the ramps would be consistent with code 1 in 12, either ramping and slope. So, that's kind of what we're intending to do.
What's gonna happen with the utility pole that's off to one side? Do you know yet?
Unfortunately, it looks like we haven't had like lengthy conversations about it, but it does seem like the design, they can coexist.
Okay,
It's not our first choice, but it's probably the reality that we're facing. There is like a guideline issue, that's what you call it.
Yeah.
That sort of, connected to the pole, that we have talked to Central Hudson about, they can reconfigure that. So it extends further back into the yard and sort of over this space.
Right.
It currently is. So it won't be quite in the way.
Did Central Hudson consider moving this, or they just said no?
Which the pole itself,
Oh, yeah.
they were pretty. But I don't think we're necessarily done with that conversation.
okay, great.
And I think this is sort of to the larger picture. I mean, the grand idea here is that these two buildings are going to speak to each other and have a relationship with one another as part of our expansion to becoming Akron Center for the Arts, which Steve, I still also stumble on myself. And that we're sort of expanding and creating a little tent for the community. So I think we're taking it one at a time.
One at a time, yeah.
Right.
So anybody,
That's the sort of the upshot of the porch ramp project for.
any questions from anybody on the board? All right, let's move to the second one. That's a good thing that people aren't asking you questions, by the way. So-
Don't have to vote on this variance before we go on.
Visually.
Yeah. Because this is old and now there's.
yeah, okay, fair enough. Do we need to hold a public meeting on this before we vote?
So.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
This, the one, the meter itself is not for the planning board. So that should be the ZBA conducting the environmental review as well.
Okay,
And also having the public hearing.
so the first one will be the lead agency on. Okay. Which we talked about at the previous meeting, a couple of meetings ago, or didn't we?
No.
All right,
It wasn't, voted on at the November meeting, which I believe was November 17th. Because there was a question about whether, it was a front yard setback and this side yard setback, would say
right.
simply the side yard setback, so it went back to that. And no lead agency or anything to be lead agency was.
And then we can do this and we don't need the public meeting for the first portion, or we do?
We still need to have a public hearing.
Right.
On the area.
Okay. So we will not vote on this tonight.
We will not approve this.
We will not approve this tonight. Well, so I think the first thing we need to do is, we need a motion for us to be the lead agency on this, since we did not do that last time.
I'll make a motion.
Yeah. Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Right? All right, well, what we'll do, I think, then is we'll we'll hold a public meeting, and then after we close the public meeting, we'll go through the impact assessment and vote on it.
So would it be fair to say that the next ZBA meeting would be a public hearing on this?
Would be on this, well, it'll actually be on both. And then at that meeting, when we close the public portion of it, for this first variance application, we will discuss it and vote on it on the spot. And then because the planning board is going to be the lead agency for the second piece of it, they'll go through that process with you. Okay. So let's go to the second one. Lead agency, he motioned, I think it was
Seconded, yeah.
Will seconded, and we all voted aye.
And then. public hearing.
We'll schedule the public hearing the same time we schedule the second one. Or the public hearing for the second application.
But they have to be noticed separate. Because they are two separate.
Yep. But we can still do them both at the next meeting, right? I mean, there's no reason to wait for a separate meeting. We'll pick that meeting date, by the way, at the end of tonight's meeting, under the topic of reorganization. Okay,
So the second project, it's what we call the annex, which is the house next door at 1326 County Route 7. It's a yellow, it's currently a yellow sided house. Dates to 1780s. It's been a single family home up until a year or so ago. Agram Opera House Theater Inc., which is the nonprofit organization that made the project and purchased that building. And with the intent of making it a sort of a mixed use property to provide artists or intern housing for folks that are working with us during the course of every season. And that as that, so that'll be a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. One of which would be actually an accessible first floor restroom and bedroom. And then if you're looking at the building on the left, there's an addition on it that will become sort of what we're calling a community meeting room that will have also sort of multiple purposes of meeting room space for our staff, but also for we have a pretty extensive workshop offerings of that we offer up throughout the year, and we actually do need more space for those. So that's where we offer like playwriting and story. We have a major storytelling initiative, and we work with 300 kids every year. So this gives us a space to work with the kids. And so as part of this whole repurposing of the building, working with not me directly, but the building department working with Dan, we arrived at a use that falls within the current zoning. That it's a private school, private religious school, day school, theology school, performing arts school, business and trade school. With a fairly encompassing use that exists for the hamlet. Requires a special use permit. That's why we put for the planning board. Here it's actually the same sort of request. We're looking for 2 area variances for the front and the side. Again, this is a non-conforming building, so it's very much up against the road. So the front setback is 21 feet 5 inches, and then the side setback, which is on the side facing the Opera House, is a 6 foot 8 inch setback. So again, it's sort of trying to sort of create these 2 separate buildings to sort of create sort of common, some common space between them.
Your drawing here says from the property line, though, it's 1 foot 4 inches.
Yes.
So the 6 foot is to the Opera House.
Yeah.
Okay,
There's a property line between the two of them.
all right, yeah, okay.
Now, what you see here, in the drawing is an area that's sort of shaded in gray. So that actually, is denoting the area that is not in compliance with new construction within setback.
Mhm.
So what those shapes are is a ramp because the house is elevated from the grade by about less than a foot, not very much. And then next to that, next to the house, as Jeff was just explaining, if you're looking at the house on the side that faces the opera house over to your left, will be a new covered porch, and then another additional porch which is uncovered. So those two porches combined make up this little rectangle here, and that is the ramp. So that construction.
Would you mind coming up and showing me on this map?
Yeah, this is the.
So this is a ramp. No. This is an existing porch, but it's gonna be new, and then these are all porches. This is the outline of the house right here.
Right.
Okay, say that one more time. So everything in gray is going to be porches, you said?
Porches and a ramp.
Okay,
Exactly.
so it's all designed for accessibility.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, I have a quick little rendering of it here. actually.
This would be useful.
Yeah, there it is. Nice.
So that's from a bit ago, but
Yeah. I actually have this. This is just this side of the opera house, so.
This is the opera house.
This is not exactly correct.
So,
Yeah.
here's the ramp right here.
That's
There's a covered porch off the
So
side
this
of the
is
house,
this porch
and then an uncovered porch. right here.
And that's how you want to connect them.
eventually,
Yeah.
This is here.
Yeah, this is the new,
Basically.
yeah, right,
Okay.
yeah.
No,
and
but
this
I
is the
mean, you're
ramp we just
visually
discussed,
connected,
but
because I was wondering why you didn't go all the way up
Yeah,
to the opera house.
Yeah.
Sure, give me the biggest one.
yeah, well, because they're on two separate properties. Yeah, it made it a little more complicated. Yeah. Then we were building a part of a
It's-
ramp on the building on the other property, so we got the
Yeah.
so, you know, I should know this because I've gone by it probably 1,000 times in my lifetime. Maybe this is already here, this portion.
This portion, this roof is here,
Okay,
yeah.
Not yet.
where's our telephone pole?
That's not on this drawing, but
Yeah, it would
it
be
looks actually, it's right here. So actually, the pole itself.
Looks a lot better
So,
without it.
yeah, it's just that we have these cables that actually are like right here. And so what they're gonna do is really put another pole somewhere here, and then we can put those two wires.
Okay, so this structure,
Yeah, that's the front of
What-
the house right here.
so this structure where their people are standing, that's not going to be new. There's already a porch there,
Yeah, that's coming off that overhang and that
and you're gonna be
little-
putting this lower, or this deck up, this, I would say deck or whatever it is.
Yeah, so you can see right here, we're just gonna put a tiny step because our idea is actually not to use this front door anymore because it's so close to the road. So there's actually a door here that we're going to be using as the entrance to the house and to this community room portion, which is here.
And this just becomes, in a sense, a fire exit.
The fire exit, right?
So, did you say that this was going to remain a house or, so the structure won't, it is still going to be a house of some sort?
It'll be accommodations for staff and. artists.
Staff, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like-
Well, it's a big improvement, isn't it?
Yes.
Any other questions? Any other questions, from anybody? Okay. So unlike the first one, we're not going to make a motion to be the lead agency. If, unless anybody has any objection, I think having the planning board be the lead agency for this is letting them conduct the environmental review is fine.
Why don't you do the agency on the first one?
Appreciate that.
because the planning board hasn't discussed it.
Variance.
Yeah.
Just a variance.
Well, I think there's some more environmental concerns with the house around the septic and, you know, those elements. So Jeff, the way this will work is we will tonight set the date for the next meeting, which will be a month from now. There'll be a public portion part of the meeting where the public can speak. Once we close the public portion of the meeting, then this board will vote on, we'll go through some forms.
Yeah.
And we will vote on whether or not to grant the variance, the first variance. And we will then vote on the second variance too. Again, once we've heard input from the public. And so you'll leave next month's meeting knowing what our decision is.
Great.
Okay. Thank you.
So I have a question. Was there any discussion about trying to make it one property? So they could, so you didn't need any of, or you just need a front yard? I mean, combining it all, because it is going to be a unit, so like.
It will be, and we will get there. I mean, honestly, there are financial ramifications of that we're able, you know.
I see. Yeah, no, that's fine. I feel bad that you gotta go through all this.
Yeah, no, I know. It would have made the whole process a little more streamlined for sure, but
Yeah.
That's the ultimate end game.
Cool.
Great. Thank you.
Sure, thank you.
Okay. Let's go on to the reorganization. Jay, you added this to the agenda and you wanted us to cover.
So, this was done at the town board at their reorganization meeting, but the planning board and zoning board of appeals are separate boards, so the zoning board of appeals should elect a chair, a vice chair, and also set their meeting.
I make the motion that Steve Oliot is our chairperson. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Do we have a volunteer for the vice chair?
I think Will should take over. No, I make the motion that Fred Schneeberger be the vice chair.
Second.
He has years of experience.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Why breakfast one?
Killing me.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so moved. And then the meeting date?
So the town board set the ZBA's meeting date for the fourth Monday of each month at 7 p.m. at the Enfield Town Hall. Does that work for everyone?
Fourth Monday of
That's
each
what
month.
we've been
Yep,
doing.
pretty much. Pretty much what we've been doing.
So do we have to make the motion that we keep that meeting date? I make the motion that we keep that meeting date.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
When's our next meeting for the Opera House? What's the date?
So at next month's meeting, Jay, prior to that, will notice both of these variances and then we'll hold the public portion of the meeting at our next regular
What's the
meeting.
date on that? Do you know?
February 26th.
Yeah, so now that the ZBA has set their meeting date, can we get motions for the public?
I make a motion, we do a public hearing for the.
Ankrum Center for the Arts.
For the arts for February 26th at 7 p.m.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Okay, Jay, anything else on the reorganization?
So this clarification goes to two separate public notices because we are separate properties.
Yes,
Two separate. Right?
Yes,
for the same date.
yes, for the same date. Okay, any other business from anyone? Any hands risen online?
Nope. Those people online.
No people online, okay. I have a motion to close the meeting.
I will make a motion to close the meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you, everyone.